Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is a Washington DC feature review. This is always an exciting time of year, isn't it, when we get to have a play with the new features of ServiceNow. We get to just, take our time, have a look through and see what we can do, see what cool stuff is out there, all the nerdy stuff. And what we're going to look at today, we're looking at the ServiceNow SDK. I have to ask you to be incredibly patient with me because this is a brand new kind of setup for me trying to stream on YouTube and do this. This could go completely wrong. This is a trial, let's put it that way, okay? If it doesn't go so well, it's absolutely fine. So this is something that I've not actually got into yet, really. I thought I'd do this because it'd be great to do something that, something to learn together, to show from someone who, I've been working with ServiceNow for about 8 or 9 years now. And this is brand new to me, the SDK, software development kit. I've been doing a little bit of mobile app development in the past, so I kind of roughly know how it all kind of fits together. But this is brand new. This is something that I haven't tried before in the context of ServiceNow. There's a lot of languages and things in here which I just do not know. I don't know NPM, I don't know nodes, I don't know how this is going to connect to ServiceNow. I don't even know what's going to be possible. So this is what's exciting about this, right? It's about having a go and just seeing what we can do. So what have I done so far? Like I say, this is supposed to be quite relaxed and we'll take our time going through this. So, we'll be taking a drink as we go through as well. I haven't really done too much so far with this. I've not really read up the notes too much. All I know is there's a brand new feature within Washington DC. I'm pretty sure there was an essence of an SDK in previous versions, but perhaps this is this is a bit more feature rich now. Now, in terms of what it will allow us to do, is what I believe is to be able to develop applications using, outside of the actual instance. So being able to do it locally on your computer and being able to kind of push up the updates to the instance. I've seen in Earl Duquet's videos that you're able to, create apps and even import apps, which is interesting. You can convert it to try and pull in an app. So we might try that. Might give that a go. And then, making edits on this side and then running it and doing the build, and then should see that on the ServiceNow side. So I'm not going to be online for too long, maybe only about half an hour. Let's see how far we can get. We might jump online later on this week to see if we can get that next step further. But first of all, let's have a look and see what we actually need. You can actually see I've got 2 screens up right now. I've got the docs up because that's going to be incredibly important to us following through this, to be quite honest. And I've also got an instance in the background which I will switch to very soon. Up here I've got Visual Code Studio, I think it's called, or Visual Studio Code, one of the two. I've only used it once in the past where I built my own local kind of like AI engine. So I built actually a chatbot locally on my computer and it used Python, which again, I don't know that language at all. And it was interesting to try and build it up locally and see how it would all kind of work. So looks like we'll be doing something similar. So I already had that program installed. I haven't paid a license for it. It's just, I believe it's a free program that you can use to, doing what we're trying to do here with SDKs. Like I said, in the past, I've tried this a few times with like building Android apps. That's definitely something where I have, heard of the term SDK in the past, where you're almost kind of like pulling down all these libraries for you to use, and you're able to kind of like emulate that app in your phone or in like an emulation of the phone on your computer. So again, we'll find out as we kind of go along how this all kind of fits together. But let's just have a little look into docs first. Before we get to the installation bit, let's just see what it actually says about it. And like I say, I'm not gonna rush through this because even for me working with ServiceNow for 8 or 9 years, this is brand new to me. So I'm sure this is brand new to a lot of people out there, and you want to know, how useful is this going to be? Is this something that is just there and available, you won't use it? You want to know where the value is. Is there value there in using this at all? So what is it? So it's a software development kit to add JavaScript modules and third-party libraries to applications locally. So as I mentioned, this is all on my running off my local PC. And upload changes to an instance of the Now platform. So yes, so clearly there would be some kind of authentication there for us to kind of push up updates. So I believe that's essentially what it is. I think what's going to be really interesting with this is how would it handle this in a proper, development environment, where you have multiple application developers working on something. Is it not used for that use case? I don't know right now, to be honest with you. So this is what we need to find out. Is it used for, only for those involved directly with maintaining an app? Is there some kind of connection to a GitHub repository? Presumably there is, and that's how it all works. Like a CI pipeline sort of scenario. So developers can create and modify scoped applications with custom modules and third-party libraries in Visual Studio Code, which is exactly what I've got here. It was Studio Code and not Code Studio. And deploy those applications to a non-production instance. So you could use your own code base and then uploading that. So I guess if you're one of these pro coder people who are, hardcore pro coders, used to doing this, is the traditional method, right, of application development. And if you're used to that process, maybe this is going to resonate a lot more with you, and this may make ServiceNow a lot more accessible to you, perhaps. Applications created or converted, and the XML files generated from the application database records. Okay, so this is all kind of XML based, it seems. Blah blah blah. JSON file defines the application structure. Okay. Similar to Node.js. I'm okay with JSON. Okay, but what I'm unfamiliar with is Node.js and Node Package Manager. I'm guessing that's just how the JavaScript libraries work locally, perhaps, or maybe that's how it kind of that package manager is how we install the libraries from ServiceNow, perhaps. The SDK includes a command line interface, CLI, okay, for managing changes between an instance and a local application. So everything's through command line, no worries. So I have a bit of a workflow here. Right, so local environment. So we've got an auth command. Okay, so this is where we're going to be ensuring that we can communicate with the instance. Add or update application metadata. Okay. Create command, convert command. Right, okay. So we've got build, deploy, fetch. Interesting. Okay. So let's just see how we get on with this and see how far we get. I'm not sure how far we're going to get with this, but we shall try. Right, okay, so yeah, so here's our kind of steps here, isn't it? So, a developer with the admin role installs the SDK, which is going to be the first step in a minute. We will then be authenticating to a non-prod instance. Hopefully this works with a PDI, because I have a PDI available and ready. A developer creates a scoped application, right? So we can create a scoped application through this, or converts an existing one. I do want to try that as well, 100%. I want to see how that translates into this kind of XML. How can you, how can you do all the kind of form layout and everything else within XML? Let's find out. You can write custom JavaScript modules and add third-party libraries. Yeah, developer builds the application, which compiles the source code and transforms it back into ServiceNow world, basically. So you build it and then you deploy it. Got you. Right. Let's kick on with installation, shall we? I've waffled on more than enough, and I'm pretty sure that we don't have too many people viewing, but that's fine. They can watch this back, can't you? So before you begin, and I have done 2 of these steps already, okay? So I have, as you know, already have Studio Code, Visual Code Studio. I already have installed something called Node.js. So I followed the link there and downloaded mine for Windows. So I just followed the pop-up that comes up from this, downloaded it. It's a very small file. Installed it on my computer here. I didn't check what requirements it takes to kind of run this. Presumably, any Windows 10, 11 machine should be able to run this absolutely fine, no doubt. So that's what I've done. So I've installed that, which I'm pretty sure is actually version 20 and version 10, I think, of NPM. So when you do that installation, that covers both of those. So I have that done. So next, what I did as well, and something that's not in the instructions, but maybe completely normal for anybody doing this process who isn't me, or maybe you don't know. I created a brand new folder, basically. I created a brand new folder for us to run this from, basically. So I called it My Running App. So you can see in there, C uses Jimbo, My Running App, and essentially that's where I'm going to be running this application from, or building my code in. So I've done that already, and I'm already in that kind of context within Visual Code Studio. Our next step is to do the install, as it mentions there. So once I get my mouse back, and so it doesn't freeze, there we go, it's back. Let's go into Visual Code Studio, and let's do the install, shall we? So npm install global at ServiceNow /SDK. Let's go. Okay, so it started, I think. So it's doing some stuff. We like to see that. So I believe what this is doing at this point is it must be downloading the kind of the ServiceNow kind of libraries, presumably to this particular folder. So we'll presume that. It may take a minute or so. Let's see. And then once I've done the install, presumably our next step would be to try and either create an app or probably authenticate, you would have thought, right? Authenticate was the first one in that process diagram that we had seen. I am going to switch over shortly to the instance as well, and hopefully we shall have successful connections. Okay, so we've got some bump that's appeared here, stuff with some warnings that's deprecated functionality. Yeah, don't understand most of that, but we will presume it's okay. Aha, right, okay. So changed 978 packages, okay. 121 packages are looking for funding, run npm fun for details. I think, let's presume we're all good. Let's presume that's all good. There's no instruction here to do that, so I shall ignore for the time being. Going back to docs, what is it saying? So use the SDK to create a scoped app or convert. So the first thing I'm going to do is try and create a scoped app, I believe. So if we go into these instructions here, and let's go to create or convert a application. So install the SDK. That's what we've done that already. Yeah, we've done all these pre-steps, don't you worry about it. Okay, so here's our procedure. So let's follow these and see if we get to the next step. So open a command line tool. So presumably you could do this in other tools, not just Visual Code Studio. And essentially I'm in the terminal of that. So I believe we're all good. So am I in the way of this? Let's just double check if I am in the way. No, I'm not yet. Okay, that's good. Right, let's just bring this back up on my screen. Got way too many screens to work with here. Okay, now SDK. Let's enter. Oh, hello. Right, so this has brought up some stuff. So now SDK, source-driven applications by writing actual code and using modern industry standard development paradigms. Lovely. Okay, so it has brought up some list of commands that we can use. Presumably, very soon we'll be using auth doing what we need to do, and then we'll be creating a new custom app. So that's useful. What else do we have here? So we've got convert, when we obviously converting one of our app scopes into here, into Visual Code Studio. Visual, not Visio. We've got build, so compiles into app files. So I believe we need to do the build before we then deploy. So that's going to be interesting. We've then got version and help, which I guess will just help us out with the commands. I am going to be just following this verbatim in terms of the docs, because I'm wholly reliant on it. I'm not Earl Duque with a fountain of knowledge behind me and probably a background in this. His videos are awesome, so go check them out for sure. It has come up with some random stuff down the bottom in here. More information, visit here, which I'm pretty sure I'm in. Some more commands, so we might check that out at some point. Not enough non-option arguments. Got 0. Need at least 1. Oh well, I'm sure it's fine. Right. Authenticate to non-production ServiceNow instance. So I think let's try this next, shall we? Store. So obviously the instance must be on Washington DC. Our instance is on Washington DC. Here is my instance here. We will use it and we will see what happens when we try and convert an app as well. We also have, I actually just got a boop boop. Oh, with 4 views, check that out. I'm famous. Right, we also have, okay, so the ability, so store your user credentials in the device keychain or credential manager on your system using an alias with the auth command. Okay. Right, so I'm going to be trying copying this example, I think, to try and get this working, and hopefully we get this working. So now SDK auth save. What should we call it? Should we just go with exactly the same? I'm going to go for the same. Dev user 1. Presumably this user doesn't need to exist. And then I've forgotten what my instance number is. Not dev. We have dev 257617. Yep. Okie doke. Boop. Boop. Service-now.com. What's next? Username. User 1. Okay. Okay, so the alias was dev user 1. Okay, I need to read properly. So we've got user 1 and default. So no password situations. Okay. And default saying this is our default user to use. Oh, at the prompt, enter your password. I just don't read on, do I? That's the problem. Authenticating to instance. Okay, so I may have to create this user as well. The password input is masked. The password to authenticate with the instance. Okay, so yeah, obviously I do need to create some kind of user 1. Should we just do that now, shall we? Let's save ourselves from an error. So I haven't done this in advance. I didn't know what it was going to ask for, although I don't know if it's supposed to be a credential rather than a user. So, but it hasn't asked to set it up, has it? Should we just continue and see? Okay. What should we go for? This is my running app, so running app 01. Enter. Username or password invalid. Okay, good. Right. User ID, user 1. We'll try it this way and see what happens, eh? And Okay, so we might need to use one of these roles. Right, I am going to go admin because presumably it would need admin. You would have thunk. It's not how you spell admin. Let's get admin in there. So user 1 with admin. Let's set this password. Nice and easy. Copy password. And okay. So I can go up in there. So I'll do that. Password. Now I can't remember if you go. Oh, it's Control V does work. Okay, that's fine. Attempted to log in. Hey, check that out. Successfully stored credentials. I mean, that's not that exciting, is it? we've been able to connect to an instance. So that's what we had to do. Okay, we create a user when it's asking for a user. Lots of lessons learned. Okay, so we're authenticated. Presumably we don't need to keep authenticating. I presume that's all good. You know, we shall see. We shall see. What's our next step? Our next step is we have authenticated. Fantastic. Now we want to create a scoped application, so we should definitely try that. So now SDK create. We're going to get ahead of ourselves now, aren't we? So that's interesting because it's now going to ask for the scope name. So we may have to grab what scope name it would actually be. The actual prefix. We'll see what happens though. Hey, right, create. So the project name. So is the project name going to be the actual app name? Presumably it is. I'm going to just call it my running app. My running app. And then we need the scope name. Just reading the instructions here, in case I just need to literally just put the scope name from the instance. The project name must adhere to NPM package naming standards. Okay, X underscore prefix. Well, let's just see. X ServiceNow James. Let's see if it actually complains about that. 18 characters or fewer, which it absolutely is. Now we're trying to break it here. Logic would tell me I should just get the scope name of my PDI instance and just use that, but we'll find out what happens. Okay, so then it's going to come up with a few prompts apparently. We'll see if this complains about X underscore S and C underscore James. Oh wow, it's yeah, okay, so what's this warning here? Offline mode, using default vendor prefix X. Scope name will not be validated. Please verify scope name before deploying to instance. So clearly I was supposed to use the scope name from the instance, but I'm interested to see what's going to happen. In case it's invalid, kindly recreate the app from scratch and move your logic. Or make sure to update scope name across all app files. Well, that sounds painful. So we might have to redo all this again in a second. Okay, I don't know what the description is going to be. It's just going to say James is running app. Is going to be the description. Build and register application on instance. Well, yeah, that's what we're doing now. Yeah. Add a sample table to the application. I think that could be useful. Just to see how it all kind of fits together in here. So I will say yeah. I'll take you up on that. Yes, please. Nah. Okay. Error. Application creation failed due to type error. Cannot destructure property instance URL of this .session as it is undefined. Oh dear, oh dear. So presumably nothing has happened in my instance here. Go to sys_. Oops. Let's see. Oh, it's applications. Look to my company applications, I guess. Presumably we don't have anything here. No, we do not. Okay, so let's try and let's just get. Is it instats.do or do I need to create a new something? To get the. I probably do, don't I? Okay. Well, let's just go to App Engine Studio. The reason is because we also wanted to convert one into here, so we're going to try and do that as well. I'll just grab the scope from that. This probably is an easier way of grabbing the scope name, and I'm missing it completely. Okay, my cycling app. Continue. Go to app dashboard. Right. Okay, so what I was kind of after is, I guess, this bit. You know how it does it out of the box? And obviously it's making up part of that, so I don't know if that was where it was kind of going wrong, so just not accepting this kind of bit here. So presumably it would be 9854 underscore my run. Let's say my run. Let's see if that works. And if this doesn't work, we might have to do a little bit of Googling. Right, okay, so my running app. I'm not going to put any funky apostrophes in there. Yes, please. Yes, please. So now it's still failing. Cannot destructure property instance URL of this .session. Do you reckon this is a limitation? Is this a limitation with the PDIs? I do not know. I am not sure. Let's do a little bit of Googling. If I can't figure it out really quickly, then I will do a little bit of analysis and then we can try this again. So bear with me while I just have a little look-see. Let's see if we can find out why. Can't destructure property. Instance URL. Why not? Obviously, we will try the converting as well if this isn't working of this .session. I wonder if I've got this. Something just tells me. I remember him having to put something about having to authenticate again. Yeah, I'm not finding anything obvious. Bear with me. I'm just going to check a few things here. See if I can get the answer. Yeah, he added auth at the end. That wasn't in the instructions, was it? That was not in the instructions. Hello. Right. This is where we see it is. So it's not, there's no dash auth in there. There's no dash auth. Just make sure I got the right the right formatting going on. Right, okay, let's just go back up. I can't remember what I've called my thing now. So when I did the authentication, what did I call the dev user 1? Okay. Dev user 1. Interactive. Okay. So that wasn't in the instructions, was it? Oh, that's different, I think. Create now. Yeah, here we go. Right. My running application. Sample table, yes please. Oh, cooking on gas. There we are. Didn't need to end the stream right now. It's going to be interesting to see how this all fits together in the Explorer here. It's going to be new, very, very new to me. So it's doing bits and bobs. I'm going to keep an eye on the instance and see at what point do we actually... Well, it's deployed, so... Oh, sys app, not sys application. At what point do we see it in here? Sysapp.list. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. I wonder if I called that scope whatever I wanted, would it have accepted it? You guys find out. Let me know. Let me know. My running app and my cycling app. Beautiful. Beautiful. Does it come up in App Engine Studio? Presumably not. Presumably so. I wonder if I can just do bits in here, retrieve it again, do bits in the SDK, retrieve it again. Maybe. Oh, we've got a to-do table. Lovely. Okay. All right. What's next? Was there anything else with that other than doing bits and pieces now? Okay, so now we've kind of created the app. We've got the shell of the app. The idea now is to do, bits and pieces inside the app. So that's what we have to kind of figure out, which we shall try at some point. So let's just explore and see what we have new, because I think this has updated my running app here. Can this extend? Yes, it can. Okay. So we now have stuff. So what do we have? So we have dictionary. So like I say, in XML, isn't it? So, right, hold on. I've got the terminal here. Off your pop terminal. So in here we have a dictionary record here for presumably this is the to-do table. So we have a to-do table with 3 elements, which is deadline, status and task, with the different kind of types there. And okay, good, interesting. We also have a sys script, which is a business rule. What's that doing? What's the business rule name? Log item change. Okay. On update, active is true, running on our particular collection. And then the script wise though, so this is one that has got an advanced script, so it's not actually showing the script itself. It is calling a function, so it's going to source myfunction.js, and presumably that is where you start to code in the actual script itself. So presumably that means if we created a brand new file in here, then this is how we would actually have to, code it, presumably. And then you refer to a function. So here's the function, and presumably, okay, so we've got imports and exports in here. So usually imports are to do with importing the different methods for you to be able to use them. So it's imported GS, so we could use the GS kind of library for glide system for GS.add info message, etc. And then you can then use a slightly different, isn't it? Like in terms of the kind of code base in here. So that would definitely take, if you're coming from being a pro coder as a ServiceNow pro coder, and then you start to look at this and it's a slightly different formats and how you have to do things, that might get quite confusing. But export presumably then exports this code back to the sys script. So that's interesting. What else do we have? So we've got those two things. We have a sys app record, which is presumably just the application record itself. I wonder if I can just kind of update that. I don't know whether it's going to be funny about that. My running app. That could absolutely break things. So let's try it. .now. So what do we have in here? So we've got stuff. Oh, the manifest. Yes. Okay. So this is looking similar to what I'm used to with mobile app development. Yeah, so that's to do with the actual deployments going back to ServiceNow. Cache, it's doing nothing. Okay. Then we've got dist /app, where we've got a similar thing. So we have the table in here, and we've got some more things. So we've got the same, presumably, log item change. Oh, we have a module. So we have a module in there. So content. Interesting. So we've got a module in there, right? I'm trying to get my head around that because it's not got like the name or anything like that around it. Okay. Sys module package. Right, okay, so this might be a different module that I'm thinking of. And then we've got, so presumably, these is all the kind of like library stuff that we could actually utilize. So I think definitely needs a bit of reading to understanding how to use this if you're coming into this new, a bit like I am. There's clearly a lot here to kind of get your head around. Now obviously I've made that update, haven't I? I'm going to do something else as well in here. Maybe I can just copy this and let's just create a new field in here for, well, it's a to-do list. We've got deadline status task. Let's just call it short description. Length of 200. Name, presumably this needs to be a maybe I won't put the underscore in just in case it has a problem with that. String. Okay, job done. Presumably auto saves, but unsure. Save. Okay. There's another one that I made changes to here. File save. Okie doke. Good. So I've made a couple of updates there. Obviously unsure right now in terms of other bits and pieces and how this all kind of fits together, but we've made a few updates. I just want to see if we can get those updates back into the instance. So how do we build and then push that back back into the instance? All right, build and deploy an application. So yeah, so it's literally just okay. Now SDK build, and then it is presumably now SDK run or something like that. Or maybe the build does the run automatically as well. So let's just open up terminal and then just try it. So now SDK build, and we will figure out you know, how to do this along with your your repositories, to understand how what's the main kind of benefits behind this. Error, could not find package.json. Make sure you're running command in intended directory. Okay, so it sounds like we need to. Oh, so couldn't find no SDK. Maybe I can just do it back in here. No SDK build. Oh, still doesn't like it. Do I need to fetch auth as the dev user one? Right, what's happening here? Is it because I changed the name? Probably. It probably is, isn't it? Why do I muck about with these things? I can't remember what the name was called. Oh, there was there. There we go. Right, I'm returning it back to what it was in case that's a problem. Okay, sorry. Don't break it. Okay. Back to terminal. Terminal. I don't know. Keep creating new terminals. I don't need new terminals. Okay. No, it's still complaining. It's complaining. Right. Who's there to help? Could not find package.json. I mean, I'm in my running app. Refresh. It's there. I don't know why it's not finding it. It's probably because I pissed about. Maybe I need to. I may need to restart this SDK stuff. No matter how many times you just keep using it, it's not gonna just suddenly work, will it? Okay, so. Oh, I probably need to do that first, right? Build. Oh, you need a source. Compile sources into. It's not told me to include a source. Compile sources into app files. We're learning. Let's just see if I can figure this out. Let's have a look at more docs here, see if I can find the answer. Well, we can just try and deploy. Should we try and just go straight to deploy? I don't know whether that's the problem or not. Where was the... If you use the install variable deploy command... No. So, is there a directory... Because this is in the... Not the my running app directory. This is in the... that directory, isn't it? That's why it's not finding it, I think. Is it still change directory? My running .app. Check me out. There we are. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Eventually. I didn't find the answer elsewhere for that one. Logic told me to do that. Right, okay. So build done. So presumably we will not see this in the instance until we deploy it. So what was the change I made? I made it to the table, didn't I? So let's just see. I don't know if I need to come out and back into this or not. We'll give it some time. Let's just go into that to-do table and see if we have a brand new column called so we don't, do we? We've got the task, got the status, got the deadline. We haven't got that other new column here as expected because we have not deployed it. So should we go back and try and deploy that now? Now we're in the right place to do it. I didn't have to specify the auth again, which was interesting. Okay, so we've got a complete deploying. Lovely jubbly. And let's just see if that has already done its thing. There we go, look, short description. We've now got a short description in there. Pretty good. So we've been able to create the app. We've been able to deploy some stuff. So I probably could have changed the name. Do you know what, I'm going to do that now. Here's me thinking I was being sneaky beforehand by changing the, I can't remember how to do it now, changing the app name. Because I know sometimes a lot of these things can be very, very pernickety. How can I make this smaller? Go away. Right, just close it then. It can be quite pernickety with like spaces and things like that. My running app. Okay, my running app. Let's save that. Could just do Control+S, but never mind. Save that, and let's try and go back to our terminal. And everyone's shouting at me because I've probably got 10 million terminals open. Okay, so build. Let's come out of this because that's what we want to do. And then deploy. Deploying package. This is why I'm trying to ruin it now, aren't I? By renaming things. Let's refresh App Engine Studio. Okay, well it hasn't renamed it. It may have renamed it somewhere, maybe. I did wonder if it was going to be a bit weird with it, and it hasn't updated the name in there, so that's fine. I'll let you off. Unless it's not finished. I think it has finished though. Deployed using Met. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I mean that was pretty good. We were able to do that then. We were able to create a new app and see if we can. We made some changes. We haven't created any new stuff. Maybe we'll do that next time. And we've been able to, see those changes in ServiceNow as well. So we've done the build and the deployments. And I think next, and to finish off this stream, because I haven't had dinner, I'm hungry, it's nearly 10 o'clock. Next, I'm going to try and do that conversion. So let's go the other way around. Let's go from having an app and then try and converting it into an area in here. And to do that, will I have to do this all again? I'm trying to think how, if I could do it by... Oh, maybe it'll do it. Okay, let's just... Can I go ... Oh, it's not. I thought that's what you used to go back up. Why can I not remember that? I bet it's something similar like that. Like /dot or something. whatever. Right, okay, so what I wanted to do is, let's go back to Now SDK, and let's go to Now SDK convert. But before we do that, let's set up that cycling app. So my cycling app, I'm going to add a new data source to it, and I want to pull that in. So let's create a blank table, new table, what should we call it? Activity, as if you're doing like a cycling activity, I guess. Act, okay, continue. Sure, let's allow everybody access. So then we'll have at least a table to work with. Let's edit the table. Okay, and let's add a field. So let's add a field for user. I hate the word user. Should we use something else? Cyclist, performer, competitor. Let's use that. I like that. Let's do that as a reference to user. Add. And let's just add a couple more. Let's not go wild. Let's add another one for maybe activity type, which is a choice. Why am I making this awkward for myself by giving myself choices to do? Okay, cute. Choices, edit, add a choice. I mean, it's to do with cycling, so maybe, you know, like race, practice, training. Okay, let's apply those. Save, please. Last field, one more field, last field. Duration. Is the duration field? Yeah. There we go. Right. So we've got 3 columns on a on an activity table here. Let's try and see if we can convert this app back into our code base here. So let's do that. I want to just go and grab the instructions in here to make sure we know what we're doing. I mean, it kind of came up when we put in Now SDK, didn't it? So it was convert and then the scope name, which was, sorry if I'm jumping all over the place, hopefully you can follow this, x_9854 underscore my cycling 0. And then what else do we need on there? Package name. Is that what we? Oh, right. Okay. So yeah, it's just my cycling app, isn't it? See, is this going to be a problem now because I'm using spaces? I'll do it like this: cycling, my cycling app. Directory. I don't think directory was important, so let's just go for that. It's trying to. Okay. All right. Still working. Now I probably shouldn't have done this within the my running app thing, so we're going to have another folder within my running app for my cycling app. So I'm sure there's better ways of doing this, but hey, we're trying. Right, so my running app, we've now got my cycling app. Lovely. In the dictionary, do we have our table? We do. Of course we do. Because it all makes sense. So we've got, the choices there. Look at that. Activity type, competitor, reference user, duration, glide duration. Bingo bango. There we go. So I think that's probably how far I'll take it, to be honest with you today. Hopefully, obviously I didn't give much warning about me doing this, so hopefully at some point I will do another one of these to try and work out a bit more within Visual Code Studio to see what else we can do within there. How can we connect it to like a Git repository so that multiple people could be working on this? How does that work? What's the true value behind this? Is it just for pro coders who want to do, scope updates through this method? I'm still unsure, to be honest with you, because I'm a pro low coder, I guess. I'd rather just be in App Engine Studio. But I'm sure there's lots more value that we haven't unlocked in this. So yeah, we'll leave it there, and then we'll come back and do a little bit more. Now, if you'd like this, please share my channel, James Downs, on YouTube. Give me a follow on LinkedIn as well, if you could. And then hopefully I'll give you a bit more warning next time when I'm going live. If not, just watch this back on YouTube, as you probably already have done. Okay. Right. Till next time, folks. I will see you soon. Good night.